Hello and welcome to PodCapers, the official podcast of A Place to Hang Your Cape. And this week, we're getting a history lesson! Yay! Ah, God, I'm going to get bored. Cue the music! Welcome to PodCapers, the official podcast of A Place to Hang Your Cape. My name is Scott James Merridew, and this is the show where we talk about various geek and nerdy subjects and are joined each week by a very special different guest. And this week, we're talking about Disney history with my good friend and compatriot, Mark Russell.
Hello, dear friends. I'm here to annoy Scott once again and drive him up the wall.
And you do it so easily. Because you see, Mark, I know quite a bit about Disney on the screen. You know considerably more behind the screen.
Yes, more or less. You're kind of like a very vile hater of all things, well, mostly all things Disney, at least that stuff that are animated. And me, I am the opposite. I love Disney. I worship it in a loving sort of way. I don't have a secret altar in my room where I burn things in the name of the mouse. Don't judge me.
Oh, we will judge you. We will judge you most harshly, especially when the revolution comes. But that's in the future. So, you're going to tell me all about Disney's history, aren't you?
Well, I'm going to educate you and the lovely capers who are listening to this, who hopefully haven't thrown themselves down the stairs yet because of me being on it again. I hope they haven't thrown themselves down the stairs. Yes, today we are going to go through, hopefully an abridged history of the Walt Disney Company from beginning to the present day, without driving you utterly insane.
Yes, and I can actually start us off. You see, when he was a young lad, Walt Disney sold his soul to Satan.
That did not happen at all. Well, he nearly did. He nearly did, actually, in a way, but he got out of it.
Oh, I was just kidding. He nearly sold his whole soul to Satan? Oh, my God.
Well, in a manner of speaking, I'll get to that point.
Okay. All right, then, teach why don't you start us off? Where are we beginning?
Very well, Mr. Merridew. Here's my Mr. Feeney impersonation. That was it. We should probably start at the beginning.
I think that's often the best place to start at the beginning. When people start in the middle or the end, they're usually viewed as kind of pretentious.
Unless you're Quentin Tarantino.
Well, yes, but he can do no wrong.
No, he can't. Although I thought Pulp Fiction was average at best. Don't hate me.
Too late. You said that. It's out there. It's too late, Mark, and one day I will come for you with my Hattori Hanzo samurai sword. But again, that's in the future. The beginning, you were saying.
I love Kill Bill. That makes you feel better.
No.
And Reservoir Dogs.
Pulp Fiction is great. But we're getting sidetracked, man. Come on.
We always get sidetracked. I think Walt Disney said it best. His probably most famous quote of all. I hope that we don't lose sight of one thing, that it was all started by a mouse. Or, in your view, it was started by Satan.
Yeah.
Our history begins. The company was founded in 1923. But all the years before that were important. Walt Disney was born in 1901 to Elias and Flora Disney in Chicago, I believe it was. His family moved around a lot because his dad had different jobs. He owned a jelly factory at one point, which collapsed very shortly afterwards.
Wait, is that jelly like American jelly or jelly like actual English jelly?
American jelly, so that would explain why it collapsed.
A jam factory.
Yeah, I intentionally made a jelly joke there by saying it collapsed. Because it's jelly. I'm weird.
Is jelly known for collapsing? No, jelly's known for going wibble, wobble, wibble, wobble on a plate.
If it's an American jelly, then it collapses.
What? You spread that on sandwiches?
I don't know, perhaps. Okay, American products. They are inferior to English products.
You need to rethink your jokes, Mark.
I know, I'm terrible. I prefer doing puns. Just puns, because they drive.
Stick with what you know, Mark. Stick with what you know. Okay, so his dad was a bum.
No, his dad wasn't a bum. He was a very good man. He was he did a number of jobs, but he was quite a hard-working man. Walt had 4 siblings, which brings up a few questions. Since they had five kids and his dad couldn't hold a proper job, so he made his children go out and do newspaper rounds all year long, 3 times a day. And I'm really painting him as a very bad father, but apparently he's a very good one.
Yeah, because I mean, I've seen the only real insight I've had into Walt Disney's life was the movie Saving Mr. Banks, and in that movie he talks about like his father and that history. So that's really the only thing I know. But yeah,
there isn't much information I could find about his parents beyond early years. But anyway, I'm
clearly he hated them because in almost all Disney movies the parents inevitably die. So...
Yeah, I think we talked about this before in another episode where I explained why maybe all the parents die. We'll get to that.
Yeah.
In World War II, Walt couldn't join it up because he was too young, so he forged his signature to be a year older and joined the Red Cross for a few months. And during this time, his love for drawing and animation arose. In the time we got to the 1920s, he was living in Kansas City, where he was working for the, I'm probably going to pronounce this wrong, the Pesman Rubin Art Studio, which made newspapers and magazines and stuff. And here he met his long-life friend and the co-creator of Mickey Mouse, Ub Iwerks.
Wait, sorry, hold the phone. The co-creator?
Yes, Mickey Mouse had a co-creator. Walt came up with the character, but Ub Iwerks came up with the actual design for Mickey.
Please tell me he got the royalties.
Yes, he did. They were split fairly.
Okay, all right.
Because Mickey's under the Walt Disney copyright, but everyone knows that Ub Iwerks created him.
Okay, I didn't know that. Wow, okay.
Yeah, and Iwerks is he's very talented, a bit underrated, but he's very talented cartoonist. I don't know if you've seen any of the recent Disney documentaries, but they're all done by his grandson.
No, I haven't seen them.
Possibly his son, because both his son and his grandson are in the film industry, so it kind of runs in the family. They both ended up forming a very brief company called the Iwerks Disney, commercial artists, and they did small cartoons and stuff. But Walt had other plans. He wanted to make cartoons for a living, just like John Lasseter. But we'll get to John Lasseter a bit later on, and I think
that's in the far future.
The future. So they made a deal with a theatre owner and created the Laugh-O-Gram Studios.
The Laugh-O-Gram Studio.
Yes, the Laugh-O-Gram Studios.
That just sounds like a guy that you send to someone's house to laugh in their face. Like like a telegram or a kissogram or something like that. No, he's a Laugh-O-Gram. He comes into your home and he laughs.
And the idea is that I think they made the cartoons, they sent them to local theatres, so that's what they mean by the name.
Okay.
And I gotta say, they hired a bunch of cartoonists, and by coincidence, all of them were going to become famous. You have obviously Disney and Ub Iwerks with it to Mickey Mouse. You have Hugh Harman and Rudy Eising, who would create the Looney Tunes.
Ooh.
Hugh's brother Fred Harman, who created a character called Red Ryder, who's in some sort of comic strip. And a chap called Carmen Maxwell, who also worked at Warner Brothers to create Looney Tunes.
Ooh.
So it's quite a pretty good lineup he had going. But
Walt should have killed them when he had the chance, because Looney Tunes would go on to be Disney's biggest competitor for a while.
Oh, the irony. But of course, it was the 1920s. What happened in the 1920s?
People got drunk and listened to a lot of jazz.
Apart from that.
Several people wrote some very pretentious novels.
Apart from that as well.
Agatha Christie wrote some not pretentious novels that were very good.
That is also true. Okay, that's not the reason why. Money. No.
Ah, damn it! I got so many of these. Money
was tight. They Walt couldn't pay his animators because the money was so low. So eventually, the studio collapsed and filed for bankruptcy.
Why was money so low?
Because of the 1920s. Because no one wanted to buy Walt's cartoons and stuff.
But okay, in the 1920s, everyone was rich. It's called the Roaring Twenties. It was only in 1929 when the stock market crashed and things went to crap.
Tell that to Walt Disney. This was in 1922.
I will tell him that, because everyone was going off the post-war economy and everyone was having a grand old time.
I don't get it. It's a bit weird.
Okay.
Anyway, Walt, with all his plans ruined, did what any other wannabe filmmaker did. He went to Hollywood.
Hollywood. Everyone who's desperate goes to Hollywood.
And becomes a worldwide sensation. So, he
well,
was
no,
desperate.
not everyone. Not everyone.
Yes, we haven't got there yet.
Yeah.
One day, perhaps. Anyway, it's this point in our story which we meet Walt's older brother, Roy Disney.
I have heard of him.
He's perhaps the most important guy in this whole thing, apart from Walt. Because, Walt was the imaginative one, Roy was the realistic one, and pretty much ran the whole company while Walt was off doing his crazy imaginative Willy Wonka ideas.
Okay, so he was the one that put in all the actual hard work. Good to know.
In a manner, he was the money guy.
Okay.
Yeah, so they, Walt
oh my god, do you know what that means? Do you know what that means?
What?
Roy is you and I'm Walt.
And and right now, Scott's about to bang his head out of the window.
Oh yeah, I'm what? No, this is an analogy. It's not necessarily true to life. Anyway, moving on.
You just heard this first, ladies and gentlemen. Scott Meridew just said he is Walt Disney.
I said I am analogous to Walt Disney in this one small regard.
Anyway, Walt sold his lone camera. His brother was recovering from tuberculosis in a hospital somewhere.
Oh dear.
He was fine.
Well, no, he had tuberculosis. People with tuberculosis aren't fine.
He recovered.
Yeah.
So they threw all the money together and opened up an animation studio on Hyperion Avenue called the Disney Brothers Studio, founded on October 16th, 1923. But of course, as we all know, Walt, he wasn't a bad. I know you hate his guts and stuff, but he wasn't all that bad. The problem was he thought the company would make more money if he had his name on it entirely. So then it eventually became the Walt Disney Company and not the Disney Brothers Company.
Oh, okay. So the first little seed of vile nastiness begins to bloom.
Yeah, so I've been reading different sources, and sometimes it's annoying when you find contradicting things. Yeah. Sometimes Roy wasn't okay with this, Roy was okay with this, Roy didn't care because he was Roy. But, stuff. So basically, Walt was the creative one, Roy handled all the money, they brought in all of the staff from Laugh-O-Gram Studios, including our Bioworks and all that, and they eventually started making new cartoons, and during this time, Walt married his wife, Lillian Bounds, who was an ink and paint artist at the studio, and Roy had married his wife, whose name escapes me because I'm an idiot. And anyway, they needed something new. During their time in Laugh-O-Gram Studios, Walt had invented a live-action cartoon series called the Alice Comedies, which starred Virginia Davis. I think she was about 12 when they did it. So they asked her to move from Kansas to Hollywood to start doing some more. And Walt formed a partnership of sorts with a woman named Margaret Winkler, who was behind the Felix the Cat cartoons.
Oh, right, okay.
Because Felix was obviously first, then Walt came along.
Felix was one of the first, if not the first, cartoon characters.
Yeah, he was the first one to get famous.
International acclaim, okay.
Yeah, because you had to go to the dinosaur before that in 1914.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. So they made the Alice comedies for a while, which actually was the first appearance of Pete.
Oh, that the big guy from Goof Troop.
Yeah, so Pete is technically older than Mickey.
Ha!
He's the oldest Disney character.
Wow.
And I should mention they also actually did rip off Felix the Cat by inventing their own cat who happened to look exactly like Felix.
And the seed continues to grow.
I think his name was Julius, according to my notes.
Oh, Julius is entirely different from Felix. I mean, you're allowed to come up with your own cat. Just don't rip off the design.
Well, everybody ripped off Felix, didn't they? Because those the cat food adverts ripped off Felix as well.
Okay.
Anyway, in 1927, remember that thing I said about making a deal with the devil?
Yes.
He existed in Hollywood, and his name was Charles Mintz.
Oh, the name alone sounds sinister.
He worked for Universal Studios. Not a very nice bloke. All about the money and nothing else really. Kind of like today, with everybody in Hollywood. Walt and he made an agreement to produce a new cartoon character. So he and iWorks created Oswald the Lucky Rabbit.
I've heard of this character.
Yeah, Oswald. Have you played Epic Mickey?
No.
Okay.
Look, you know me so well, Mark. Do you really think I'm going to play Epic Mickey?
Probably, I don't know. You get to melt cartoon characters and stuff.
Well, in that case, I might just play Epic Mickey.
You get to destroy Disneyland in a manner of speaking with a magic paintbrush.
Oh, really?
Though it's on the Wii, so I couldn't.
Oh no.
Yeah. Oswald was quite a interesting character. He was very, I wouldn't say devilish, but he's quite mischievous. He could take his body parts off and use them for funny cartoon shenanigans and stuff. Because
Okay.
he could rip off, he could copy, he could spin his ears like a propeller and stuff.
Okay.
Oswald was Disney's first big hit, and he even took on Felix the Cat at the cinema, which was quite fun. He had a very short run, but it was quite successful. But unfortunately, his time fell short because money is the devil's
Currency.
currency. Yeah,
Money is the devil's currency.
money, dear boy.
We've got to have money.
Yeah. Oh God, you watched the Tom and Jerry movie?
Oh yeah, when I was a kid.
Oh God, it's awful, isn't it? That
Yeah,
damn
I
sick-
don't know if I actually made a show, but I talked with this with Summer Millman, and yeah, it's fucking atrocious.
Who came up with the idea to let them talk?
I'm actually not that annoyed by that. What I am annoyed by is the fact that it ended up not being a Tom and Jerry movie. It wasn't about them. It was about this random blonde twat.
Little girl.
Who are you? Who are you, little girl? What are you doing in my Tom and Jerry movie? Why is your dad, as the nostalgic critic put it, like a combination of Indiana Jones and Tom Selleck? Why? Why would he leave you with your aunt who is clearly evil? Why does she have a lawyer whose literal name is Lickboot? How is this creepy, like, vet guy able to, like, sell animals and not have their owners or the people that come to them just like realizing it? How much money can one really make off of pets in this way? Why does this pirate captain guy have a talking parrot sock puppet? I have so many questions and none of it ties in to fucking Tom and Jerry.
Exactly. The Tom and Jerry didn't exist at this point. They were like made in like the 40s. We're still in the 20s with Disney.
But we're getting ahead of ourselves.
The madness that is to come. If someone told me that Tom and Jerry would have talked, I would have laughed them out of the room.
Technically, they did talk in the cartoon. There's a few instances
where Tom screams.
No, Tom screams, yeah, but also there's just there's instances of him saying like one-off lines purely for comedic. Like there's this one bit, famous bit, where he like peeks around a corner and it's just like, "Don't you believe it?" or something like that. And it's so
the black lady.
Thomas. Yeah, it wasn't known for its racial sensitivity, and that's bad. Yes, but then again, neither was Disney.
No, that's true. That's true. We'll get to that. Anyway, 1928, we said goodbye to Oswald in the most horrible way possible. Walt went to rearrange his negotiations and contracts and stuff with Charles Mintz, who, behind his back, told Walt that he no longer had the copyrights to Oswald, because technically Walt had given them to Universal, and he had hired every single one of Walt's animators, apart from iWorks, behind his back to leave the company. So he had basically stolen his character and hired all his employees behind his back, and Walt was left with nothing.
Oh my fucking God, that's like Mr. Burns level of slimy.
Excellent.
Yes.
No, Mr. Burns was like, whoa, that's too far. Hold on, man.
Yeah, but it's like Mr. Burns crossed with Mr. Potter from It's a Wonderful Life, crossed with Ebenezer Scrooge before the ghosts came, crossed with John Lithgow in that Santa Claus movie.
I love that Santa Claus movie.
Yeah, crossed with fucking that guy who raised the price of that medication by like 1,000% because he could. I can't remember his name or what the medication was, but he's very well known now for just being an utter dickwad.
Yes, I think that is his name.
Yeah, I think it is. Wow, what an absolute bastard!
I know. The good thing is that Charles Mintz never had the same success that Walt would go on to have.
I'm glad to hear. Well, I'm not. On the one hand, I don't want good things to happen to Walt Disney, but on the other hand, I want bad things to happen to that guy. So
yeah, and Oswald had a quote-unquote successful career of his own. Then he disappeared into obscurity until Disney rescued him in 2006.
Wow.
So it took them that long to get the rights back to the original character.
Who was holding onto the rights of Oswald the Lucky Rabbit?
Universal. And they did nothing with him because they're too busy Woody Woodpecker.
Okay, I got fine. Woody Woodpecker, great, but why hold on to a character that you are doing nothing with and have no plans to do anything with? Fox.
I mean, they're very good. I mean, I think everyone that kind of forgot about Oswald for years until some animator went into the Disneyland archives and found a picture of Mickey and Walt, Mickey and Oswald together. And went, "Who's the rabbit?" And they eventually realized who it was, and they've got him back.
Okay, fair enough then. Yeah.
Anyway.
There are Disney archives. I imagine it's like the Vatican archives, just with all sorts of security and pages and libraries and heavily armed guards.
Well, not heavily armed guards. They probably have disintegration pistols and stuff there.
Yeah.
Anyway, with Oswald gone and his staff all kidnapped, Walt had nothing to do. So on the train back to Los Angeles, he came up with a new character, Mickey Mouse. And he created.
Well, we did a rabbit. What's next to rabbit? Mouse, obviously.
Let's do a mouse. So he and Iwerks co-created Mickey together. I want to make that perfectly clear. They both created him together.
Yes.
And the first cartoon they did was called Playing Crazy, which was Mickey in an airplane and stuff.
No. The first cartoon was Steamboat Willie.
Steamboat Willie was the first cartoon released in cinemas. Playing Crazy was the first Mickey Mouse short made.
Oh.
And no one liked it because there was no sound. So they turned to a bloke called Pat Powers, who had invented some sort of sound synchronization system thingy. And from that, they recreated Steamboat Willie with sound, making it not the first cartoon with sound, but the most famous cartoon with sound. Because
of the time.
Of the time, because 4 years earlier, the Fleischer brothers, who created Betty Boop,
they did all the Superman cartoons and things like that, didn't they?
Yeah, they're the ones who made the first cartoon with sound. But Disney being Disney, they often take credit for it.
Fucking Disney!
And I'm trying to be nice here.
I'm not.
Yeah, so Mickey Mouse, Steamboat Willie came out. The mouse is the god of the world. You know how that turned out. Then eventually, Pat Powers turned out to be a douchebag as well, because he had been, I think, something about not giving them royalties for the characters. So the Disney brothers cut off ties with him, and Pat Powers resorted by hiring away Ub Iwerks.
Oh.
But then Ub came back to the studio in the 1940s as a special effects guy.
Oh.
So he came back then. So we now move on to the 30s. And hopefully Scott hasn't died yet.
Oh, God, we've only just started. Okay, so the 1930s, this is when the Disney roster of cartoon character bastards just grew a little bit.
Oh, you know you love them.
No, yes, I don't.
Because Minnie Mouse appeared with Mickey. You got Donald Duck, Goofy, Pluto, Chip and Dale, Scrooge McDuck, who actually appeared...
Oh, yeah, can I just say this about Chip and Dale?
What have they done wrong?
No, here's the thing. I'm sort of embarrassed to admit this, but literally the other week, 2 or 3 weeks ago, I was just sitting on my bed, I was reading something, I don't know, nothing to do with Disney, wasn't even thinking about Disney, for once, it was a blessed relief, and then I slowly lowered the book down, and I said, Chip and Dale. Chip in Dale. Chippendale. 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 Oh my god, Chippendale dancers! They named cartoon characters after male strippers! Ah!
Yeah, they didn't. They named them after a guy who invented something. I can't remember. His name was something rather Chippendale.
Too late. No, Chippendale dancers. Chippendale. I can't believe it took me like 25 years to get this, but I wasn't aware of it when I was like just born. But still, oh my god, Chippendale are named after strippers.
They're not.
Yes, they are.
Well,
It's real.
Well, explain why they're obsessed with nuts.
Ho 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 ho.
Anyway, Disney entered their quote-unquote golden age at this point. They
Quote unquote is exactly right.
I'm doing that to please you and the other anti-Disney sympathizers who may be watching this.
We are few in number, but we are powerful in our anger.
Yes. Anyway, the Technicolor process was being invented, what they used in The Wizard of Oz.
Oh, yeah.
And the Disney company took advantage of that, and they made the Silly Symphony stuff, which was basically any 1930s animated Mickey Mouse short you've seen is probably part of that.
Which was a rip-off of Merry Melodies.
Was it? Yeah, I think it might have been. I can't remember. I can't remember when Looney Tunes started appearing.
Okay, it might be that Merry Melodies was a rip-off of Silly Sympathies, but I still would say that Disney ripped off someone else, because that's more likely.
Yeah, I can't remember. Because, so they're doing Silly Symphonies, Donald Duck, Goofy, Pluto, Minnie, Chippendale. Scrooge McDuck was invented by a comic book artist called Carl Barks. You also have Huey and Dewey and Louie, the rest of them, the whole big Duck universe, which is now getting a reboot in DuckTales.
Which I will admit does look rather good.
Darkwing Duck is going to be in it too.
Apparently, let's get dangerous.
Darkwing Duck! When there's
Better watch out, you bad boys! Darkwing Duck!
We're so weird. Disney was kind of... He had stopped doing animation. He was now just doing producing and filmmaking stuff. Yeah. But all his animators were probably the best in the business after, say, probably Chuck Jones and Tex Avery.
Even though they wouldn't hire women.
They did hire women.
Because I saw, like, I think it was a rejection letter that said that they didn't hire women to be animators.
No, they did. They had Walt's wife started working in the ink department. Right. So they are animated.
This might have happened later. This could have happened in the 1960s or something. I don't know.
No, they had female animators. Half of that they did. I'll explain that when we get to it.
Okay.
They did.
It's entirely possible that the thing I saw was utterly fake.
Possibly, because there's some you'll find these stupid websites that say, "Oh, Walt Disney was the Antichrist. He was misogynistic and stuff like that." He wasn't. He was just
I thought that was a well-known fact.
He's just a very shrewd businessman. I want to put this right down here and now. He was not racist. He was not sexist. He was not anti-Semitic. If he was that sort of thing, why would he have hired people like Floyd Norman and Tyrese Wong and work with African American actors and stuff? He was not racist at all by any means.
We're gonna come back to that later.
At least not in an intentional way, because we'll get to that. Yeah, so the 1930s Disney studio was in its golden era, as I said repeatedly. And the animation department was headed up by the 9 old men, as they were called, because they were.
You've mentioned these before, and I never heard of them.
Because they're apart from Chuck Jones and the Looney Tunes group, who are by far the best animators ever.
Yeah.
And possibly Miyazaki as well, and Nick Park, and John Lasseter,
and Don Bluth,
Oh God, I got to get to him.
We're gonna get to him. Believe you me.
We both like him.
Well, it depends what he's doing, but still.
Yeah. So you had the 9 old men: Les Clark, Mark Davis, Ollie Johnston, Frank Thomas, Milt Cole, Ward Kimball, Eric Larson, John Lounsbury, and Wolfgang Reifman. I remembered all of them. Go me.
Off the top of your head, wow.
Actually, no, I'm reading my research papers.
Well, they don't need to know that.
Well, they do, because they want to know, and you want to know.
Look, who are these old geezers?
Genius animators. Every bit of animation that you've ever seen, they probably had their craft probably inspired it in some way.
Okay, so we owe a lot to these 9 old men.
We owe a lot to them. And we'll jump ahead a little bit, because this stuff went on for like about 6 to 7 years. Then Walt got his big idea.
Ah, yes.
An animated full-length motion picture movie.
Yeah, no, I did a bit of research on this, and there were feature-length movies that have been done before that featured animation. None of them were all animation. This was the first time that it would be 100% feature-length, hand-drawn, as we know now, traditional animation. There were other forms of animation. There was like ones with like I think it was like shadows and things like that, and various other things, few and far between, and many of them are lost to this day. But this was something entirely new.
Yes, it was new, and everyone thought Walt was crazy.
Yeah, it is weird considering now how we actually have a category in the Oscars just for animated movies. That people thought that no one would see a feature-length animated movie. People told him that people would walk out of the cinema.
Well, they always say that people are going to walk out of the cinema. I've never seen anybody ever walk out of the cinema when I've gone.
Yeah, me neither. I've seen people go to the toilet, but they always come back. Because, like, it's expensive to go to the cinema. You pay, like, 10 quid. Even if it's a bad movie, you stick it out to the end.
Yes, I know, exactly. So, the film, obviously, we're talking about is 1937's Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs.
I thought it was 1939.
No, that was The Wizard of Oz.
Well, I'd like to point out that Disney didn't own The Wizard of Oz at that point.
They did own the rights to it, but they never did anything with it.
So they just let someone else make a movie about it.
Yeah, they owned the book rights, but then they lost them, and then they made the movie, then they got them back again, they didn't do anything with them, they made The Return of Oz, which is fabulous, and, but that was it.
So, as I said, they didn't have the rights then.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
So why did you disagree with me? Oh, never mind, we're getting...
Because I enjoy watching you squirm.
Yeah, okay, so 1937... Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. Was this one rotoscoped?
Was it rotoscoped? I
thought I know I've seen like images of like I think it was Sleeping Beauty. Definitely parts of it were rotoscoped, but I don't know.
It might have been. They used what is it? Something called a multi-plane camera, which is how they did all the cool tracking shots and background stuff.
Yeah. And okay, so here's the thing about Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs.
Here we go.
It's shit. However, out of all the shit Disney films, this is the one that I respect. Because it was entirely new, it was pioneering, it was genre inventing, technically, and it, well, at least, at very least, stylistically inventive. And he did it despite the fact that no one believed in him, and it was a massive success.
You have to be impressed by that. I know you do despise
I am. I do despise it. I don't like the movie, but I am impressed.
Because we wouldn't have had probably anything. If Snow White had failed, would we still have an animation thing that we do today?
Maybe, but maybe not, or at least not in the way that we recognize now. This started a chain of events that led to us getting a lot of great animated movies, and a lot of really crappy ones. Speaking of which, Bambi.
We'll get to Bambi in a minute.
Yeah, I'm going to try and make sure that this isn't a repeat of my Dirty Disney Dozen.
We've got over 50 movies to go through. We're not going to go through each and every one. We're going to skip most of them. Anyway, Snow White, huge success. Walt got the Academy Award for it, along with 7 miniature ones as a joke. And he was able to open a brand new studio in Burbank, California, which obviously became the studio that's there today.
Wow, yeah.
However, there was a downside.
Oh, dear.
I think I've told you about this before. Walt and Roy built a new house for their parents, who lived in Portland, Oregon. However, the furnace was dodgy, and Walt's mother died from asphyxiation.
Oh my god.
And people think that is the reason why Bambi's mom dies, and why every parent dies in Disney films, because Walt's mother died.
Oh no, I'm so sad my mum died. I'm going to kill more mums.
Now, it's only for that sort of.
I don't get the logic behind that.
I don't. That's just my opinion on it. That's what some people think, but it might just be coincidence. Anyway, let's move on.
Or just bad storytelling. Who knows?
That's a good point. Yeah, let's move on to the 1940s, where everything went wrong.
Yeah. What went wrong?
Let's see now. World War II started.
Oh, so rationing.
No, not rationing. Because World War II started in Europe. Walt lost half of his potential audiences because Europe was all cut off. So Pinocchio failed, Fantasia failed, Dumbo failed, Bambi failed. So all these classics failed at the box office.
Just because most of continental Europe couldn't get them.
Yeah, pretty much. And then when they were doing Dumbo, there was an animated strike.
Which is why Dumbo is only an hour goddamn long.
Yeah, exactly. Because everyone thought Walt wasn't paying them well, and increasing cuts to animate to the budget and stuff were driving everyone gaga. So Walt was shoved off to South America to do a goodwill tour. They finished all the animation strike, but then Pearl Harbor got bombed.
Oh dear.
World War II, and America got involved in World War II. The army moved in, took over the studios, and to make up for his loss in box office revenue, Walt
Propaganda!
He made propaganda movies. So he did that weird one with Donald Duck and having to salute Hitler all the time.
If you ever wanted to see Donald Duck say Heil Hitler like 10 times in a row, this is the short for you.
And yeah, so the weird thing is, it won an Academy Award, and now Disney did pretend it doesn't exist.
Why?
I don't know, because it's probably making.
I mean, like in it, Donald Duck is a Nazi, but the whole point of it is that it's a nightmare, and he wakes up and he says, "I'm so glad that I live in the United States of America," and starts kissing like a little statue of the Statue of Liberty that he just so happens to have. And so, like, why would... So if I went up to, like, a Disney executive, like, hello, you remember that, Donald Duck, Heil Hitler movie? Do you remember that? And they would just say, I don't know what you're talking about. Or maybe it's because there was a very racist depiction of Japanese people in it.
Was there? I've only watched it once, so I don't remember.
Yeah, there's like, all of Hitler's allies marching by, and it's,
oh dear.
It's bad. It's bad.
And to think Disney now love Japan. Weird, isn't it?
Yeah.
Anyway, World War II come and gone. Walt came back. His studio was financially bankrupt. I'm sure you're cheering on the inside.
Again, and not for the first time. Not for the last time, I should say.
Yeah, so to make up for it, they started making those package films, like
Three Caballeros and things like that.
That sort of stuff. Make Mine Music, Melody Time,
Fun and Fancy Free, yeah.
Fun and Fancy Free. And the Adventures of Ichabod and Mr. Toad.
Yeah.
Which I only got half.
Wind in the Willows and Sleepy Hollow. They just go together.
Yeah, because I only got Wind in the Willows. I didn't get Sleepy Hollow.
See, I never watched either of them, so...
Yeah, it's weird. And he also...
I much prefer for the British TV cartoon version of Wind in the Willows. That was much better. I think who was in that one? Oh god, there's just so many people.
There was a Monty Python version.
That was a Monty Python. They just had a few actors from Monty Python in it. That was also quite good. But no, that was in live action. Now the cartoon one is technically much better. It's got oh crap, what's his name? I know him, Lord Flashheart.
Oh, Rick Mayall.
Yeah, Rick Mayall. Rick Mayall, and as Mr. Toad, who's brilliant.
It's very good casting.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
look, Ratty, no hands. That's sort of like what he did. But yeah, he's brilliant, and but yeah. So Wind in the Willows never saw.
Yeah, it's not bad. It's like half an hour long. It's very funny.
Okay.
They've got this great horse character, and they're called Cyril. I think it's Cyril Proudbottom.
I don't remember a horse from the original Kenneth Grahame novel.
Yeah, they threw him in because they thought, hey, funny horse, they're quite funny.
Because Disney will never ignore any opportunity to fuck over someone else's work.
Then they went to live action stuff, so they did Song of the South, which obviously we don't need to talk about because
that went over so well.
It doesn't exist. We don't talk about that one.
Yeah.
And he made nature documentary films called True Life Adventures, which lasted about 30 years. Then 1950s came along. Walt got back into the animation field. He made Cinderella, Alice in Wonderland, Peter Pan. I know. You hate the sequel.
Well, no, I hate the Peter Pan as well.
I know. Sleeping Beauty, 101 Dalmatians, Lady and the Tramp, Sword in the Stone, and the Jungle Book.
Oh, God. Oh, it's just, with the possible exception of 101 Dalmatians, it's just shit after shit after shit.
I love them all.
Oh, I'll bet you do.
Mostly, I never was really fond of Cinderella for some reason. I don't really get why.
Because it's shit.
No. Not really.
It's basically like, okay, Cinderella, you spent years and years and years in practical slavery and did nothing to solve it and just kept on wishing that you would get out of it. So I've just decided to reward your passivity by giving you a nice night out. She just so happens to meet a guy who falls in love with her for no goddamn reason. Who's been pushed into marriage by his dad who just wants babies. And she magically manages to have the exact right shoe size that no one else in the kingdom has. And it just all works out and is contrived. And there's a line in it where one of the female mice, when they're making a dress, says, "Leave the sewing to the woman."
Oh dear.
Fuck
1950s, 1950s. They were being stupid back then.
That doesn't make it good.
No, it doesn't make it good, I suppose not. Anyway, Walt was getting a bit tired of animation, so he jumped to TV. And started making live-action shows, like Davy Crockett, King of the Wild Frontier, starring, what's his name? Buddy Ebsen, is it?
Maybe, I don't know.
I think it's Buddy Ebsen. I probably got it wrong. He was in it, but I can't know if he was the main star or not. And then Walt Disney came out with his craziest dream ever. A theme park!
Yay!
Now, Scott, I need to ask, have you ever been to any of the Disney parks before?
I might have done.
Which ones?
The one in Orlando.
Okay, Walt Disney World. We're not going to talk about that one.
Why?
Because Disneyland's the most important one, and Walt Disney World is second. I think
Oh,
we are going
okay.
to talk about it, but not in brief.
I prefer Universal Studios, let me put it that way.
That's okay. Nothing
I
wrong with
met
that.
Wolverine and Spider-Man that time.
Ooh, yeah. I hear quite good things about the Spider-Man ride.
That was a lot of fun, I remember as a kid. Oh god, I just realised, when I was at Disney World, I met Chip and Dale, and they, tried to dance with me. They tried to make me strip!
The horrors. Well, as you know, they've been arrested if they did that.
You're not literally, Mark, but they did try and dance around me, and they are Chip and Dale dancers, therefore,
Oh, good. Oh, dear. You're going to tell me, were you traumatized as a child?
I'm traumatized as an adult.
It'll be like 60 years from now.
I
an old
moved
guy.
from trauma to trauma to trauma.
You roll with it.
Yeah.
Don't worry. We'll always have the good memories of things you do like.
A list that gets smaller and smaller with every year. But anyway, the theme park.
Yes, Disneyland. Opened in, when was it? I'm going to forget, 1955. Walt planned it for about, I don't know, 3 to 5 years. Like with Snow White, everyone thought he was mad. But
This guy, who everyone once said was mad, but then created this massive film empire, I think he's mad again. No one listened to him.
yeah, because Walt always went, he was a very, what's the word, innovative person. He always was looking to the future.
Yeah, that was one thing that I do admire of him. This, I remember, at the end of Meet the Robinsons, there was this quote about how he's constantly looking forward and looking through the future. And that's, I think, a pretty good aspect to have, as long as you don't, fuck people over in order to get to the future.
I don't think he did. In fact, they denied him that future.
Oh.
Yeah, I'll get to that. So anyway, Disneyland opened in, I think it was July 1955. I gotta say, they recorded the opening live. You would love it, because it's an hour and a half of them completely and utterly falling over themselves, trying to do this thing. It was hosted by Walt, Art Linkletter, Bob Cummings, and Ronald Reagan.
Ronald Reagan.
Yes, the actor.
Back then, he was the actor, yes.
Yeah. It's utter chaos. It's hilarious. The whole thing went wrong. Basically, they were supposed to get 10,000 guests in. Some asshole counterfeited the tickets, so they got 28,000 people in on the opening day. It was boiling hot. There was a plumber's strike, so they had to decide if the toilets or the water fountains were open. They chose the toilets. A gas leak closed half of the park. And the recording itself, the actual event, is hilarious because towards the end it just completely falls apart. They have tons of glitches. Bob Cummings keeps forgetting his cues, and at one point he's caught actually kissing a woman live on TV, and he's like, "Oh hey, I didn't see that." Ronald Reagan is doing his president stuff before he was doing president. The only one who's trying to keep this whole thing together is Art Linklet, and he's doing a fantastic job of failing miserably. You can watch the whole thing on YouTube. It's brilliant.
Mark.
Yes?
Thank you.
You're
Thank you.
welcome.
Thank you for this gift.
You're welcome.
When this is over, I am going to watch that.
Go watch it. Go watch the whole thing. It's an hour and a half long, hysterical, absolutely brilliant.
20,000 gasoline.
The best part, or rather the worst part, because of our sensibilities. There's a scene where they go to Frontierland, and Davy Crockett comes in, and he sings a song about shooting people. It's called "Bang, My Old Betsy, My One and Only Betsy," and he's basically shooting guns in the air the whole time. And then they go into a very awkward part where they sing, "Let's go shoot some Native Americans." And it gets even worse. They have a dance number involving black people, and one of them is called Aunt Jemima, which is a racist term for happy people who worked on the plantations.
Wow.
And this is just
wow.
But that just happened on the opening day. Everything else after that was smooth sailing.
Oh,
more or less.
You see, in any fair and just world, that theme park would have closed right after.
The weird thing is, I don't know. Disneyland was not the first theme park either.
Well, I didn't think that was the case. I assumed there were theme parks before then.
Well, it was the first major theme, because there are amusement parks and then there are theme parks.
Okay.
But the first theme park is actually 5 miles down the road from Disneyland, called Knott's Berry Farm, which by coincidence, it's also created by a guy called Walt. So there's Walt.
What screwed up kind of world do we live in? Where two people, independently of each other, created theme parks pretty damn close to each other that were both called Walt.
Exactly. So, also there are tons of stories I could tell you about Disneyland, but I'll do some more. I'll just do brief trivia stuff. Steve Martin used to work there, the actor.
Oh, right, yeah.
And you're going to go ballistic. Disneyland invented Doritos.
No.
Yep, they did. They invented Doritos.
The thing that has given me so much joy came for something that gives me so much pain.
Yes, Disneyland invented Doritos. Or at least what would become Doritos, according to my knowledge. And on a happier note, or at least in my view, Disneyland was created by the Imagineers.
Yeah.
And as a long-term Disney fan, you've come to like these folks. Kind of like, the equivalent of comic book people, artists. So you've got, very famous ones. I won't name any of them because you won't know who the heck they are. Apart from Mark Davis, who was one of the 9 old men, and he transferred to Disneyland and made fantastic rides. What are your thoughts on the Disney parks? Your experience there? Did you enjoy it? Or...
Well, I mean, okay, here's the thing. It was a lot of fun. The rides are very good. It's a lot of fun. It's blisteringly hot. I don't know why anyone would choose to work there and not die of heat stroke, but yeah, it's pretty good. And I only went to the one, and I was very young. Well, not very young, but I was fairly young. And so, I mean, for my Disney hating street cred is taking a plummet right now. But then again, I was a kid, and they are good rides, I guess. So,
Got a favorite?
Oh God, I don't remember.
Okay.
I remember the Universal Studio ones. I remember the Spider-Man one and things like that. Oh God, I'm trying to think. Did I? I think I was on a. No, that was another thing. Jeez, I remember. Oh God, there was the one. I think we talked about this before. The ride of Brer Rabbit.
Oh, Splash Mountain.
Yeah.
That was made in the 1980s. So, and also that's based on Song of the South, but yeah. We don't need to talk about that.
I remember that because I remember they got when this bit where the ride goes down and there's a bunch of brambles and thorns and stuff above you, and I was terrified they were going to take my head off.
No, so just plummet to your very watery end.
That's less scary than having been decapitated by a bunch of plastic thorns. Jeez.
That's true. Well, Disney has huge history, tons of stuff we could go about. In the 1960s, they invented audio animatronics.
The robots from Westworld! Ah!
Yeah, pretty much, except not as advanced, and
Yeah.
they can't kill people.
And they're all presidents.
Not all of them.
Okay, well, some of them are presidents.
Singing birds, singing bears, pirates, ghosts.
Creepy, creepy bastards.
Stuff which
Oh yeah, I remember the Pirates of the Caribbean ride.
Everyone loves that one.
Yeah.
I can't be bothered going for the stupid controversy everyone threw a fit about a week ago.
Well, I can. I want to hear this controversy.
Okay. 'Cause in the original scene, they had a bit where women were being auctioned off to pirates.
Oh dear.
And that's been there for 50 years. Everyone loves it because they think it's hysterical. I thought it was hysterical because it was funny.
You think it's hysterical that women are being auctioned off?
Yeah, because the gag is obviously you don't see them being auctioned off because there's like a kind of like a thing underneath saying, oh, they're gonna be pirates. They're gonna be funny pirates. Obviously the scene is everyone thought it was hilarious, but nowadays because we're very appropriate, very sensible, they changed the scene so that the auction scene is now gone, and instead they've made it something different. And every Disney fan was up in arms about it.
Okay, good. I mean, I'm not good that they're up in arms. I'm good that they changed it.
Yeah, but they're up in arms about changing it because of the scene's been there for so long. It's been there since opening day, and everyone was upset. Everyone was upset that they were changing it.
But it's about women being sold.
I don't understand the ramifications. I like what they've done with the change. I think it's quite good.
I mean, I can't remember this actually thinking about it, but was it in the original way being portrayed as like a very bad thing, or was it portrayed as like a don't take it too seriously thing?
Don't take it too seriously thing.
Oh, see, that's not good.
Yeah, because people have been. There have been the people who said, no, you can't change it. It's been there since the beginning. It's got to stay. And there are other people who are like, you can't change history. These are supposed to be pirates. They're supposed to be evil. You can't... what's the word I'm looking for? You can't mush it out. You can't make it family-friendly.
Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely on the latter side for that. I mean, if you're going to... I'd rather not include that scene at all. But if you're going to... Don't say it as like, oh, it's a fun time where women are being sold into slavery.
Yeah,
yay!
So for better or for worse, they have changed it into something that's a bit more like friendly. But the downside is, have they pretended that like these pirates are all fun-loving and not evil?
Oh yeah, that's not good.
If you know what I mean. Anyway, moving on. Obviously, the other big rides are the Haunted Mansion.
Oh yeah, I know all about
great hit, fantastic history. I won't go into it though.
Yeah. So Haunted Mansion got its own movie, which was stupid.
Yeah, it was stupid.
What's the other? Pirates of the Caribbean got its own movie.
Pirates got one. The Country Bears got one. The only saving grace of that is it's got Christopher Walken in it.
This is not over! Bears!
And obviously now apparently they're going to do a film based on the Jungle Cruise starring Dwayne Johnson. But since they're already doing a Jumanji sequel starring Dwayne Johnson, is there really any point?
I don't know. I don't fucking know anymore. I just... What are people doing? What are people doing? What is Dwayne Johnson? I like Dwayne Johnson. Dwayne Johnson, what are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? What is going on with the fucking world?
Why?
That's my only reaction to like the events of the past couple of months. I feel like you ever play Fallout New Vegas?
I have not played that one yet.
Okay, well, there's a perk that you can pick in Fallout New Vegas called Wild Wasteland, and it basically means that like a bunch of like, oh no, it's Weird Wasteland, where basically like a bunch of weird stuff happens that wasn't in the original game. So like you'd find a fridge, and inside is a skeleton with an Indiana Jones hat. Aliens arrive in like New Vegas. There's a gang of old women in pink dresses that carry like rolling pins that try and beat you unconscious. And it's just weird stuff like that. But no one around you seems to think that it's particularly weird. And that's the reality I feel like we're living in now. We're living in a reality where a former wrestler turned actor is now running for president in 2020. And our current president, well, no, the Americans' current president, sorry, is a former reality television star. And And our current Prime Minister is like a reincarnation of Margaret Thatcher. It's weird. It's weird.
What a strange world we live in. You could say it's a small world after all.
We could, but we won't.
I actually haven't brought that one up yet. That ride was made in 1964 as part of the New York's World Fair. And speaking of actually going back to the president thing, Abraham Lincoln got his own ride. Great moments with Mr. Lincoln.
Okay.
And
here we are in the Ford Theatre. Bang.
Actually, what they did, because it was the first animatronic they built, which was human-sized, they built it, they tested it to an audience, it malfunctioned, one of the fluid thingies in its chest burst, and it looked like they had recreated the assassination of Lincoln.
No, it's more than that. That sounds like they recreated the assassination of Lincoln, but he's assassinated by an alien from Aliens.
And apparently there's another story where it did a malfunction and it flipped off the audience. Apparently, that's what one of the
Lincoln's had enough of your shit.
And there's also the Carousel of Progress, which was Walt's baby, basically. It was a rotating theatre using animatronics that showed how technology has evolved, and they haven't updated it in about 30 years. So much for progress.
Yeah. That's...
Yeah, so after that, Walt continued with basically mostly TV and theme parks, and he made the Mickey Mouse Club. Less said about that, the better. Then he had plans to make Walt Disney World, which obviously you've been to.
Yeah.
In Florida. But Walt Disney World was just going to be half of the idea. The other half was going to be his idealistic view of the future, aka the Experimental Prototype Community of Tomorrow. Epcot.
Oh, God! I just got that acronym. I've wondered for years what Epcot actually meant. Like, why do they call it Epcot? What's an Epcot? Isn't that like an apricot that's gone wrong? Why are you calling part of your theme park apricot? I do not get this. That big dome thing doesn't even look like an apricot.
Yeah, it looks like a giant golf ball.
Yeah. What do
it.
you think an apricot is, Walt Disney?
Oh, you're great. Oh, I missed this. Oh dear. Yeah. So anyway, his idea for Epcot, or apricot as you want to call it, was to create a futuristic city of the future. Experimental metropolis made by capitalists with big...
This is starting to become very Ayn Rand.
I know. Basically, just imagine the world of the Jetsons without the flying cars and talking robots. And you've pretty much got a basic idea of what Epcot was supposed to be. The 1960s future, world of tomorrow. Mr. Fantastic, Mr. Fantastic, his dreams of the future.
Welcome to the world of tomorrow!
Yeah, pretty much. Because you know what Tomorrowland is like in that film?
What shit?
Like that. I liked it. I thought it was alright.
It wasn't as good as it could have been. It wasn't. When you have a movie directed by Brad Bird, I expect a certain level of standards, you know?
It was written by the guy who did Lost, and he got lost in Lost.
Yeah. I'm not surprised now, but anyway. So basically like tomorrow. Okay, I'm with you so far. I'm with you.
Yeah, and that was going to be his big dream. That was going on in the background. Then he made Mary Poppins. Oh, come on.
Okay, the movie is good. The movie is good, but having seen Saving Mr. Banks and all the things that went on behind the scenes...
That's exaggerated.
Okay.
How Disney does it best. Actually, no, they downplayed it a bit. Because P.L. Travers was quite clingy. She was quite a control freak in a way. She had quite a difficult life. They muffled out the more darker bits of her life in the movie, and it was very awkward and stuff. But the film, I think, is a masterpiece and really doesn't need a sequel.
Oh yeah, because they're doing another one with Emily Blunt, and Lin-Manuel Miranda, which I'll be honest, I don't need it, but I kind of want to see. Yeah, just cause.
I mean, Dick Van Dyke is coming back.
Really?
Angela Lansbury's going to be in it as well.
Really?
Yeah, so they're bringing in all their veterans because they're all in the 90s now.
No Julie Andrews?
No, she's not going to be in it. I think Julie Andrews says she's not going to be in it.
Fair
'Cause
enough. I mean,
can't have too many problems. I
yeah,
don't know.
if you get, it's like having Sean Connery in Skyfall. It just doesn't work.
They're actually going to do that.
Yeah, I know. That's why I mentioned they were going to have him like be that older groundskeeper guy, and then quite rightly they decided not to do it because you can't demote Sean Connery from James Bond to groundskeeper.
Yep, because that wouldn't work. Because it's Sean Connery. You got to have Sean Connery being James Bond, otherwise it won't work at all.
Exactly. Yeah. Although, why they got Dick Van Dyke in that then?
Because he's now because in the original film he played the old banker. Now he's playing.
No, he didn't.
Yes, he did. He was playing the old bank. He played Bert and the guy who's in charge of the bank.
Really?
If you watch the end credits, there's the last scene at the end. Then it automatically transforms as Dick Van Dyke, also starring as Mr. Dawes. And now they're doing that again in the sequel.
He's once again Oh wow!
So that's a nice bit of magic right there.
Wait, didn't he die in the first one?
He died, but now he's playing the guy's son.
Who's... Wait, so this is definitely a sequel?
Yeah, it's a sequel.
Oh, okay. There's the son who was actually quite pleased that his dad died and was flying a kite.
Yeah, but presumably this is the film set in 1910, and the sequel's set in the Depression, so, stuff and stuff. Money, goodbye, everybody.
What was that really the case in Britain? I know it's very big in America.
I don't remember, but look how.
I'm not asking whether you remember. I know you weren't around in the 1930s, Mark.
Or was I? I was here all along. I've been tormenting you from the very beginning.
Plot twist. Also, I was the man who forged all those tickets to Disneyland.
You monster. You must have also been the director behind the god-awful live broadcast.
Yeah.
Laughing hysterically.
But, so they made Mary Poppins, and they're doing another one, and that was... they done a lot of live-action movies before that and since that.
Yeah, they did they did 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea.
Yeah.
Which was... I haven't watched, but I've heard good things about it.
I've heard good things.
They did The Love Bug, the Herbie film.
Yep, which I tried to watch, and I just... Buddy Hackett?
Yeah, the seagull in Little Mermaid.
Right, he's done other things, but yeah. He just, like, the very beginning of the movie, he's, like, talking about how he went somewhere and talked to this one guy, and it just sort of came so out of nowhere, and I was so bored by it. The movie had barely been going on for 10 minutes, and I just thought, nope, and I turned it off.
Yeah, so then we get to the end of the Golden Age. 1966, Walt Disney goes to hospital to deal with an injury he got from a polo match years ago, and he discovered he had lung cancer.
Oh dear.
And he passed away on December the 15th, 1966.
Okay. I am not going to insult the death of Walt Disney, because that is something I will not do, and that's not fair. It's any death is a tragedy, and his is no exception. I will say, though, for me, Walt Disney left behind a legacy of beginning as an imaginative, innovative creator, and then ended his career as you would put it, a shrewd businessman, which I'm not entirely happy with.
Oh, well, each man to himself, I suppose.
Yeah.
Because he was very pushy when it came to making his decisions. He never praised people. He was very what's the word? Not off the wall, off the sleeve? I don't know.
Off the cuff?
Off the cuff, I think that's the term I'm looking for. Even though I don't know what that means.
I'm not sure about this. Well, I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's the end of Disney, and they never made another movie again. The end.
Yes, they did. We still got an entire 40 years to go through.
Oh, jeez. Okay, let's hear it.
So after Walt died, Epcot was cancelled, in the manner of speaking, and was reimagined as a giant golf ball.
Okay.
As you know, did you go to Epcot?
I might have done. I can't remember.
Okay. Well, Epcot was basically it's the dead park. Sadly, no one remembers it much, but now they're going to inject some life in it over the next couple of years.
I thought people were still going to it.
They are still going to it, but the fact is, it's the largest park in the Walt Disney World, and it's like 16. Yeah, it's dead basically.
Yeah.
But they're going to hopefully revive it at some point in the future with new stuff.
Okay.
Roy Disney opened Walt Disney World. He worked into retirement years, and then he passed away from a stroke.
Oh dear.
Iwerks passed away as well. So this is like all the veterans are starting to go away now.
Okay.
And Disney entered its quote-unquote dork age.
Age?
Yeah, between 1970 and 1984. This was the what would Walt have done phase.
Oh dear.
Because with Walt gone, they fell into a big creep stupor. Like, oh, we can't do that. Walt wouldn't approve of it. Then they used that as an excuse to not make big decisions. Okay, I mean, they opened Tokyo Disneyland in the 80s. They did some innovative films, but only after Star Wars came out. So they did Tron, they did The Black Hole, Bedknobs and Broomsticks, which is my favourite live-action film.
Did that come out after Star Wars?
No, sorry, that came out in 71, and Star Wars was 77. So okay, I'm a bit off a couple of times.
Mark, this must be your area of expertise.
I know, I'm bouncing back and forth. You can't remember all the dates.
Okay.
I'm useless with numbers.
I am not going to do very well in the exam after this.
Well, remember, there's going to be a pub quiz.
Oh, jeez.
What's Walt Disney's favourite colour? Green. No, it's not, but you get the gag. Money, green, in your mind.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway, because the old animators was all doing the films, but it was getting longer and longer to make the animated films. The budgets are going down of each movie. And there was a new generation of animators coming in. Like, John Lasseter, Brad Bird, Tim Burton, that sort.
In the 1970s.
Yeah, some of them started working in the 70s, and then they all came between the 70s and 80s. Some of them were coming in. Don Bluth was working there,
and he was not happy.
No, he was not. He was not a happy camper. He thought that they were taking too long to make them. There was no interest in making good stories anymore. It was all family-friendly kid stuff, like you would see on CBeebies.
A bit of a hypocrite in that regard, because he did kid stuff.
Yes, that's a good point. But I think that was.
But his kid stuff was much more challenging for kids.
Yeah.
In certain regards, I've talked about him before. How I like some of his movies and I don't like some of his others.
I like The Secret NIMH. I like American Tail. I like Land of Time. The rest are all, no. Yeah. Troll in Central Park.
No.
Rockadoodle. Thumbelina.
No. Oh God, no.
Because Thumbelina was...
Thumbelina! She's a funny little squirt. Fuck that movie.
Because that was doing the Disney formula. So in a way, Don Bluth inspired Disney to get their heads out of the bombs and then copied them in a way after he failed. So
I'm going to teach Disney a lesson by stealing their stuff and then failing. I'm a smart man.
Yeah, so eventually... And the board of directors was run by Walt's nephew, Roy E. Disney. So there's another Roy.
Okay.
And his son-in-law called Ron Miller. And there was some tension between there. Roy eventually resigned as kind of like a protest. And then a few years later, they finally said, right, we've got to do something. Don Bluth's kicking our asses at the box office. Let's bring in Michael Eisner and Frank Wells in 1984. And thus we begin the Disney Renaissance.
Okay, but here's the thing. Renaissance typically implies a period of enlightenment, progression, and uplifting of various cultural and social and technological aspects. This was the opposite!
In your opinion.
In fact!
No, in your opinion, which in your mind is fact. Because here's
the thing is, Disney was making really unsuccessful movies. They were, box office-wise, they were in the pit. Fox and the Hound did not do well at all. Black Cauldron was not very well received. And so they said...
Got beaten at the box office by the Care Bears movie.
Wow. Okay, yeah. Well, you know you're not doing well when you're beaten by Care Bears. And then they decided, okay, shall we be even more innovative? Because here's the thing, the stories themselves weren't that bad. Fox and the Hound was about how society was driving two friends apart. That was pretty cool.
I thought it was quite sad.
Yeah, it's sad, yeah. But it is an interesting story for the most part.
Yeah, I know, it's very well written.
So they decided, shall we continue this this interesting trend and try and just make our films a bit more innovative so that people will actually go and see them? No, let's go back to fucking princesses.
Because that's what it was the most successful formula. Even though they did it,
but it wasn't good.
They ran it into the ground.
Yeah. And so we got the fucking Little Mermaid, and the fucking Beauty and the fucking Beast.
Yes, except there was no except they didn't actually do any effing in the movie. Because that would have been acceptable. But before they did that, they brought in Jeffrey Katzenberg.
Oh yeah.
Boy.
Now, who is the people that tried to make Treasure Planet?
Oh, who made... That's a bit... jumping a bit far ahead.
No, because here's the thing about Treasure Planet. I like that movie, I love that movie, Treasure Planet. It's such a cool movie. But here's the thing. The people that were trying to do Treasure Planet, people who did it, were trying to do it for years. Like, before The Little Mermaid came out. When they were saying, what should we do? We got this mermaid thing, or we got this Treasure Planet thing. They went with a little fucking mermaid.
Oh, yeah, because Katzenberg, I think it was Katzenberg, he said, nope, not going to do it. And then he left. And then they did it years later.
He went to do DreamWorks.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. We're jumping all over the place now. We've got to keep an order in this thing. I demand that we have order.
I reject your order.
As Professor Umbridge would say, I must have order.
And Dumbledore's like, fuck you, bitch, I'll do whatever the fuck I want.
Yeah, so 1984, stuff out the old and the new. Michael Eisner was crazy about celebrities. He
was such a money grubber.
Yeah, he was very... Yeah, I admit, he became that. He brought in Jeffrey Katzenberg. He kicked the animation staff out of their own building so he could turn it into an office. They had this warehouse of a new building, which was this big, dingy, grey, ugly thingamajiggy, which you could have died in.
Oh, wow.
And then he insulted them by gathering them all together at like 8 o'clock in the morning saying, well, I'm not interested in the Academy Awards. I'm interested in the Bank of America Awards. Let's get some money going, boys. And that deflated them all. And...
this literally sounds like Mr. Burns.
Yeah, except Katzenberg he redeemed himself over time.
Yeah.
Because he came to understand the animators, what they were going through. He became a better person.
So Eisner is Palpatine, the Emperor, and Katzenberg is Darth Vader.
Yeah, but who would Frank Wells? Because he was the nice one who kept the two from ripping each other apart.
Stormtrooper number 38?
He was Moff Tarkin. Frank Wells was Moff Tarkin.
I guess maybe, I don't know.
And Roy came back as well. So you had the four guys running Disney together. Stuff happened. We go for the Renaissance. We have Little Mermaid, which you hate. The Beauty and the Beast, which you hate. Aladdin.
Hate.
Aladdin. Okay, Lion King.
I take issue with a lot of aspects.
Oh, all the rest goes Down Under as well, which is we both like.
I'd like, but the ending is stupid.
Yeah. So then they're in the pumping away. They're like, yeah, we're king of the world. Then Frank Wells dies in a helicopter crash.
Oh dear.
So after that, Katzenberg thought he was going to become the next president of the company. Eisner hadn't got over Frank's death and said, you can't do it. Katzenberg quit and went over to form DreamWorks.
Yep.
And that won't come to bite Disney in the arse at all at any point in the future.
Yep, and that's when Disney, via Pixar,
and
DreamWorks both tried to make their Ant movie first.
Yeah, we should probably jump over to Pixar in a minute. Yeah, because DreamWorks made Ants, Disney made A Bug's Life.
Both of which are very good films in their own right.
Yeah, both very good films. So you got Woody Allen in it. It kind of is good.
Woody Allen is not always an immediate guarantee of quality.
No, not always, but I think he's an alright actor.
But Sylvester Stallone, on the other hand, now, he made the movie.
Yes. Oh, Christopher Walken's in it too, isn't he?
Christopher Walken's in the movie, yeah. And a bunch of other people. And there's a lot of other people in Bug's Life. That was Dave Foley, who I think is great. And
Dennis Hopper.
Hopper.
Not Dennis
Kevin
Spacey.
Spacey.
Kevin Spacey, wrong person.
Because he plays a character called Hopper.
Yeah, silly me, wrong person. Silly, and you got what's his face? Dennis Leary's in it as well.
Yes, Dennis Leary is in it. He's the Ladybird.
And
David Hyde Pierce.
Yeah. What's his name? Yeah, David Hyde Pierce. He's the brother of Fraser.
Yeah. Niles.
Yeah, Niles.
He's done other things. I like David Hyde Pierce.
Yeah, I know. I've got like 500 pages on the Renaissance, so we'll just skip over to Pixar, shall we?
We can do. Well, I'd like to focus on the end of the Renaissance before we do.
Okay, well, the Renaissance, nothing really happens at the end of the Renaissance.
I know what happens.
They have the Hunchback of Notre Dame. They have
No. Pocahontas.
Oh, that was midway. That was midway. That wasn't at the end.
Oh,
That
it was
after...
the end. It was the beginning of the end.
Oh, I see. Right. Okay. Because Pocahontas. Let's just get this out of the way. It's not historically accurate at all.
No.
The weird thing is that actually the sequel video they did, that was more accurate.
Well, in some regards, yes. In other regards, no. But yeah, it was technically more accurate.
And the weird thing is, no one had faith in The Lion King. They thought, oh, this film's going to suck. No one's going to go see talking lines. And it was like, oh, let's go see Pocahontas. This is not going to make anybody unnerved, is it?
Oh, jeez.
No.
I'm given to understand that many Native American people at the time weren't that happy, as often they are not when they are inaccurately depicted in any movie.
Now, which is worse, the Peter Pan or Pocahontas in depicting them?
For sheer insensitivity, Peter Pan. But then again, Peter Pan isn't about Native Americans. Pocahontas was. None of the Native Americans in Peter Pan, if you could even call them that, they're so stereotyped it's not even close to reflecting reality. Pocahontas was a real person, you know?
That's true. Yes, and she was like, what, 15 when they kidnapped her and impregnated her and stuff, and she died, like, in her 20s?
Died in her 20s, anywhere between 15 and 10. When she first met John Smith. In fact, the only thing the movie really gets right is the fact that she stopped her dad from killing him. And that's about it. And he was not blonde, and he had a beard.
Yeah, and not voiced by Mel Gibson.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, sure. Get Mel Gibson to voice this character. He can act really well alongside Christian Bale and Billy Connolly.
Yeah, so Batman, the crazy guy from Lethal Weapon, both team up. That's weird.
But at least they were both British. Mel Gibson isn't.
Yeah. Hooray for Billy Connolly.
What?
Hooray for Billy Connolly because he is the most epic Scottish guy in the world.
Yeah, he's the most epic person in the world, frankly. But anyway, so yeah, they did Pocahontas and they did Hunchback. When do you regard the end of the Renaissance?
Well, I go for historical stuff. When Tarzan came out, that's it. Everything else.
That's the thing. See, Tarzan didn't do well in the box office, but I do like
that. It did. Tarzan did well.
Oh right, because I like Tarzan.
Yeah, because they all technically, even though that most of them, in your opinion, sucked, they all were box office successes. So, in a way,
okay.
Plus there was also the other side of the Renaissance, which was the glorious Disney afternoon cartoons.
I know. I've never watched any of them, to be perfectly honest. No, I have. I did. I think I might have watched. Actually, no. I watched Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers.
Yeah, Rescue Rangers.
Chip and Dale Stripper Rangers.
Except they do a lot of dancing in that series as well.
Oh god, no, it's wrong. It's wrong. But anyway, but yeah, though those cartoons were quite good. I'm given to understand. Although I have an issue with Tailspin.
Oh yeah, that makes no sense.
Yeah. Why would you take the characters of the Jungle Book, put them with other random made-up characters, and make them into like an air courier shipping company? I don't get it. Like, you could just do this with all new characters. It would be exactly the same. What? Why? I didn't know the man, but I'm pretty sure that Rudyard Kipling didn't envision his characters as sky pirates.
And flying in planes.
It's not even all of the characters. It's just like 3 of them, and only one of them, Baloo, gets any sort of... How did he get from the Indian jungle to flying planes? Who taught that bear how to fly?
I don't know. Mickey Mouse.
It's so
unless
bizarre.
Mowgli became a pilot in the whenever Jungle Book is set.
The 1800s.
Yes, unless he became a pilot in the 1800s, which is impossible.
Yes!
Unless he stole Wonder Woman's invisible plane.
No! No, it's stupid. But yeah, so the Disney afternoon cartoon, we could spend all day talking about that.
Yeah,
and that was pretty good until it was suddenly not.
Yes. Yeah, the Disney parks were in hell. Because while the Disney Renaissance was kind of unintentional, Michael Eisner, being the money-grabbing wacko that he was, planned to spend tons of money to make the theme parks epic. They had tons of plans, tons of awesome stuff, and then Disneyland Paris was built, and it initially failed.
Yeah.
Eisner freaked out and basically cut the budget on every single park project that was happening, and introduced, people hate this guy, Paul Pressler, as the new president of the theme parks, who is, think of the most unimaginative, pencil-pushing guy you can think of, who isn't me.
You're not unimaginative.
Thank you.
Or pencil pushing. I'm starting to come up with a sort. I'm imagining like a grey suit, horned rimmed glasses, the most inexpensive haircut you could possibly imagine, and just like bland. The rest is bland. Oh god, yeah.
I haven't seen a picture of him. I don't actually know what he looks like, so let's just assume he looks like that. They put him in charge, and he basically wanted to turn Disneyland and every other park into a supermarket. Basically, he cut the budgets on everything apart from the shops and the restaurants, because he thought that people didn't come to see the characters and the rides. He thought they came to shop, like it's a big shopping center.
Did no one explain to him that he was in charge of a theme park and not a Tesco?
Oh, here's the best part. Disneyland got a second park. They call them gates for some reason. I don't know why. Which was called Disney California Adventure. And this idea was, what if we don't want people leaving Disneyland to go explore the rest of California, so we'll just bring the rest of California to the park. So they basically made a park which was supposed to represent all of California, and it sucked. Because there was no imagination, no innovation, no creativity. You could have made a better theme park using a paper clips and a glue, and it would have been a better attraction. There was nothing in this park that screamed Disney, and it failed spectacularly, and it took them 15 years to rejuvenate life into it.
Oh, wow.
But then they did the same thing at Disneyland Paris. They made that stupid, god-awful studio park, which, again, is basically the same thing. And the whole thing, obviously it's got better over time, but the damage was done, and people are getting fed up, But thankfully, at least in the film department, Pixar came to the rescue.
Yeah.
And
on the one hand, I don't like that Pixar is owned by Disney, but on the other hand, Pixar is great. So yeah.
Yes, Pixar is legendary. So I'll just do a brief history of Pixar. You've got John Lasseter, Ed Catmull, and Steve Jobs all come together. I think George Lucas played a hand in it at some point, and they all formed Pixar to create computer-generated movies.
Yeah.
And they did Luxo Jr., which was Dawn of the Lamps. Was it?
Jerry's Game?
That was a tie-in film for Bug's Life.
I remember watching that. I really like that.
And they did Tin Toy, which was kind of like the predecessor to Toy Story. And then Disney caught wind of what they're doing and went, ooh, I can't believe we fired John Lasseter, because they did fire him. Because they're stupid. And then let's get him back. So they tried fishtailing him, they're like, ooh, come to Disney. And they said, nope, we're going to stick with Pixar. Right, okay, so let's make a deal. You make the films, we'll release them. What do you say to that? Yay! And so from that, they made Toy Story.
And in fairness, that worked out pretty well.
And it is, perfect, isn't it? It's a wonderful film.
It's not perfect.
Well, it's nearly perfect.
Well, because Cars.
No, just Toy Story, not Cars. Just
Toy Story. Still don't know about perfect, but it's still very, very good.
Yes, it's one of the best. And, they made Bugs Life, Toy Story 2, Monsters Inc., Finding Nemo, Incredible Ratatouille, Wall-E, Up, Cars.
Some of the best, and some of the not so best films, animated films that have ever been made. Yeah.
Cars 2.
Oh God, have you seen Cars 3?
I'll wait till it comes out on DVD or whatever. I can't bother to go see it.
I haven't seen it yet either. I thought, shall I? Because the trailer looked pretty good, but I don't know. I had my heart broken twice already, Pixar.
I know. Dad, I thought Cars was alright. I like the story.
The story was a rip-off of the of the Michael J. Fox movie Doc Hollywood.
I've never read that.
It's about a doctor who goes to LA to be a plastic surgeon, but on the way he accidentally destroys someone's fence in this small town, and is then told in order to pay off his debt he will have to stay in the small town and be the local doctor.
Oh, okay. That sounds interesting.
That sounds exactly the same as Cars.
Except with talking cars.
Yeah.
Okay. That's weird. I might have a look at that.
Yeah.
Anyway, Pixar and DreamWorks are now coming out with woodwork, being kings of animation. Disney was falling apart, and I think it's rather sad, really, because I think because you and I both grew up in the early 2000s.
Yeah.
So we have Lilo and Stitch, Treasure Planet, Emperor's New Groove, Atlantis, and Brother
All of
Bear.
which were good films, even though I don't
I
like the fact that they screwed over Hans Christian Andersen once again, but still, yeah.
Yeah, I love them. I think they're all great movies.
Yeah, but they weren't making enough money.
Yeah, so Michael Eisner, in his apparently vast wisdom, decided, I know, here's what we're going to do. We're going to scrap traditional animated films together and make, without Pixar's permission, because their contract was ending, he said, let's make sequels to all of their movies without any of the involvement from the original creators. And he fired, tons of these animators were getting fired, out of work, and Pixar were being used as the excuse for firing them, which I think is really tragic.
Oh my god.
And then, because obviously Frank Wells was dead, Jeffrey Katzenberg was gone, Roy E. Disney was still around, and he resigned again and did a big protest with tons of other people saying, save Disney.
All right, yeah!
Because he didn't want his uncle and his dad's company to fall apart twice. So he did this big Save Disney campaign, and Eisner stepped down and was replaced by Bob Iger, who's frankly done a fantastic job since he's left. He's done great.
He's done a good job, but he is the head of Disney and therefore the focal point for all of my rage.
Don't worry. You will be. He's leaving in nothing about like 2 years anyway, so you'll be spared.
But then again, Disney didn't exactly pick up at this point. I mean, Chicken Little, Home on the Range.
Yeah, because they bought Pixar, I think, in 2006. Steve Jobs was put on the board of directors. Ed Catmull was made in charge of Pixar, and John Lasseter was put in charge of basically everything. So,
yeah.
Chicken Little, Meet the Robinsons was all right. Chicken Little was rubbish. Do you remember Bolt? No one really remembers that one.
Bolt was all right, actually. Yeah.
Bolt was all right. And then they injected new life into the studio. They did Princess and the Frog.
They did the same thing in the Renaissance. Okay, we're not making any money. Shall we be new and innovative? No, let's go back to princesses. They're just repeating the same patterns over and over again.
I know. They're there. Everything is going to be all right.
No, it won't, because they're doing the same thing again now with remaking all of the live action remakes.
I know. Oh dear. So yeah, Pixar in the house, Disney start making, in my opinion, and in a lot of Pixar ones, better films. So you've got Princess and the Frog, you've got Tangled, which I like Tangled.
Okay, Princess and the Frog I don't really like, but I will admit it's a decent movie.
Too complicated.
Sometimes I don't think it's a decent movie, but I do admit that I like it. My opinion changes sometimes. Tangled is a good movie. I have issues with it in some cases, but I do think it's a very fun and enjoyable movie. Very nicely animated. It's very beautiful. Frozen is fucking shit.
We'll get to Frozen. And of course, Pixar's still making glorious films like Up and Wall-E and The Incredibles and Inside Out. I watched the Good Dinosaur movie a couple of weeks ago. I thought it was quite good.
I thought it was quite good. I don't know why so many people don't like that movie.
Even though it's basically Land Before Time meets Ice Age.
Yeah, sort of, but it's a fun, simple, slightly smaller movie. And it's a nice, pleasant distraction. It's not meant to blow you out of the water, but nor is it meant to give you a bad time. It's meant to give you a nice, pleasant, good time.
Yeah.
I never thought it did that.
Yeah, and 2009 was a bit of a rough year. Because...
For all of us.
I suppose, yeah. Because Roy Disney passed away from cancer.
Yeah.
The voice of Mickey Mouse died.
Oh, dear.
I cried on that day.
Oh, dear.
Very sad. Then if I'm following my thing correctly, in 2000 and... When did they buy Marvel? Was that 2009?
I think it was 2009 or 2010, because I remember I was living at home. I was still in secondary school at the time, and I saw it in the newspaper, and I tore it apart. I tore it a fucking apart. I was like, no! Oh, no! Dear. Things are finally going right for Marvel again, and they fucking bought by fucking Disney. No!
Yes, everyone went ballistic over Marvel, didn't they? They said, oh no, they're gonna Disney fight everyone. They're gonna have Wolverine fight people with Nerf guns or whatever. What they said for the Punisher. Yeah. But it turned, I don't know. They never really done anything apart from subjugating the Fantastic Four, pretend they don't exist.
Oh, God, well, no, that's more Fox than anything else. They're fucking making a Doctor Doom movie. What are you doing? What are you fucking doing?
We'll wait and see. It's probably gonna suck, but we'll wait and see.
Well, the guy who did Legion, which is very good, is doing it, so I hold out some semblance of hope. But if there's things, if it is good, then yay, we've got a good movie. But it means Marvel will never get Fantastic Four.
Nah, they're doing what they're doing. They're doing the Venom thing, aren't they? They have Venom without Spider-Man.
Yeah, that's gonna go over so well. That's gonna so well.
It's gonna go down like a house made of fish.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. Why would anyone even try that?
Let's upon you.
Yeah.
No,
let's upon you. Yeah.
Anyway, so Disney were in. People call this the thing we're in now, the Second Renaissance. Bit skeptical about that because all of the films they've done have been good. They've never haven't made a bad one recently.
Really?
It might. Okay, we'll get to that. 2012 they did Wreck-It Ralph. 2003 they did the Juggernaut. That is Frozen. Take it away.
Yeah, Frozen is fucking. I could go. We're not here to talk about the movies individually. Frozen is shit, but it has such a massive influence, and they're going to do a sequel. And if Elsa isn't gay, I'll throw a tizzy.
She's not. They shouldn't do that just to be just to be what's we're looking for?
Politically correct.
Politically correct, because
no, they should do it because we need a major gay character in a fucking children's animated movie, and it will be a really interesting character choice. This will be something that they could explore.
I suppose that would work, but I really suspect at some point DreamWorks or whoever did the Minions films, at some point they'll put a gay character in. Well, they'll just do it saying, "Hey, look, we've got a gay character, but we're not going to put any characterization into him. We're just going to make him overtly camp."
Yeah, that's not good. I mean, I hope if someone does put, it's happened a few times before, and not really much. But I've talked about this before in previous episodes. But just do it, but do it well. Whoever's going to do it.
Yeah, someone's going to do it eventually, and hopefully. Well, I wouldn't mind if Elsa was a lesbian. I wouldn't have any problem with that. I mean, hey, at least someone would help her get out of her angsty, frozen heart phase, which she really hasn't got out of.
Yeah. Because, I mean, destroying the entire ecosystem of your land by a snap winter will do that.
Did I do that? I didn't mean to.
Yeah, seriously, I'm not surprised if, like, the entire agricultural infrastructure of Arendelle, which is still a place in England, will suffer. But anyway.
Oh, dear. Is it a place in England?
Arendelle, yes. I think it's spelt slightly differently, but I've been there. Oh. It's in West Sussex. It's lovely.
Oh, God, the tourists. Like, this isn't... Where's Elsa? This isn't Arendelle. Where are the talking snowmen?
It's not even on the coast. I don't know what... We talked about this in the Dirty Disney episode. Just like maybe research your mythical lands before... Because I'm going to create a brand new, unique fantasy world. I shall call it Tewkesbury.
Genius.
Yeah, it's...
We'll call it Bristol.
Oh, yeah, no, Bristol is even better. No. Or just Manchester.
Yeah.
Oh, God. But anyway, we're going to have so. And that's pretty much where we're up to today. Yeah, Disney are absorbing franchises left, right, and center.
Yeah, they did Big Hero 6, which was good. They did Zootopia is brilliant.
Yes.
Moana, I love Moana. I actually think I'm now obsessive about Moana for some strange reason.
Oh, you know what, Mark? I'm sorry, Mark. I'm sorry, but I just don't see how you can be just like have any other opinion than Disney sucks. Because can you really?
We'll see about that.
No, because I'm sorry, Mark. I think you need to say Disney sucks.
No, I'm not. Wait a minute. Hold on a second.
I see what's happening here. You're face to face with logic and it's strange. You think you know how to feel. It's adorable. Well, it's nice to see the Disney fans never change. Open your eyes, let's begin. Yes, it's really bad, it's stupid, breathe it in. I know it's a lot to comprehend. But brace yourself, I'm gonna offend. What can I say except Disney sucks? The Mermaid, the Beast, the Pan. It's okay, Disney sucks. Though I'll admit I kinda like Tarzan. Hey, didn't I tell you that Disney was bad? And that made you kinda mad, so sad. Years ago, who pointed out its many flaws? And yet I get no applause. Oh, also I knew Maleficent. Disney sucks. Would start a live action ascent. Also their adaptations are crap. Disney sucks. They give Hans Christian Andersen a slap. What can I say except Disney sucks? They're creatively bankrupt, can't you see? There's no need to pray, it's okay. Disney sucks. I'm tearing apart the film pedigree. Disney sucks. Disney sucks. Well, come to think of it, Mark, honestly, I can go on and on. They're a terrible cinematic phenomenon. The dog, the duck, the mouse, oh, that was, well, just being a louse. Think it was good? It was about money. Made a cartoon, started a monopoly. Not gonna lie, not gonna enchant. Don't interrupt Scott when he's on a Disney rant. Disney was a con artist, you know. All he did was put on a fancy show. He could have been the absolute best of us, but he stopped making real films and made it evil business. Ha, 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 hey! Well, anyway, let me say, Disney sucks. They've got a formula, it shows. Hey, it's okay, Disney sucks. They're a company of lies and shadows. Hey, it's your day to say Disney sucks. They gave up a long time ago. I'm not going away, Disney sucks. They named a black stereotype Jim Crow. Disney sucks, Disney sucks. So fuck them.
You didn't sing that very well.
Neither did Dwayne Johnson.
He sings better than you do.
Well, Autotune will do that.
For a guy who's a former wrestler turned Scorpion King turned G.I. Joe guy, he can't sing. So he still sang it better than you.
Yeah. But anyway, I think that is time to wrap up a little history lesson. So, Mark, what did we learn?
Well, I learned that you despise Disney mostly, but there have been some little shades of grey that have been revealed. You have respect for some parts of Disney, at least on a historical level. Everything else, as you keep saying, as you just sung about, is, in your opinion, garbage.
And I learnt that Disney was built upon a foundation of innovation, pragmatism, and most importantly, imagination and looking to the future. And since that foundation was built, they have never once adhered to it.
We shall see.
Yes, we shall. But I want to thank you, Mark, for joining us. Thank you for giving us this little history lesson.
You're welcome. And next time, we should do a pop quiz on the history of looking around my room for something random to say. Concrete. We should do a history lesson on concrete and how I can how I can trap you in it for insulting Disney.
I know how concrete was invented, okay? It was invented by friend Fritz Flintstone in order to bury an executive. That's how that movie said it happened. But anyway, thank you for...
Don't get me started on Hanna-Barbera and what they do with the characters, shoving them in Halifax adverts. They're golden characters here. And
that is how I feel every single day, Mark.
I know.
Yeah, so I want to thank you again. Thank you for joining us. Thank you to Dan Harris for our logo, that lovely logo with the microphone and the red glasses. That's me. You can listen to the show on iTunes, Podbean, or at A Place to Hang Your Cape. Please just check us out there. If you do go on iTunes, leave us a review, because if you do, you'll be entered to win an official PodCapers t-shirt. The contest is still open. It ends on July the 31st, so you haven't got that much longer to go leave us a review. So get on and do it. We want your feedback regardless. And you can find us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, using at AP2HYC or that guff. And we're on the Weeby Geeks and Tangent About Network. Check us out there. And we have a Patreon. Check out our Patreon for A Place to Hang Your Cape. And there are lots of lovely rewards on offer, which I might feature in. Oh, yes. Oh, yeah. So, thank you very much for joining us, Capers. This has been PodCapers, the official podcast of A Place to Hang Your Cape. Cue the music!